feeding it as we go off this field. This was the last field we baled. It's that hay that we basically baled. It was silage. Didn't get wrapped or anything. We do not wrap hay, in case anybody's wondering. We have beef cattle. It's just not, for us, there's not enough benefit in the extra cost for doing it. So all we bale is dry hay, in case you're new and wondering. We don't bale wet hay, but this here was late. I couldn't get it dried out because there was rain coming. We just wanted to get it put in the bale. And quite frankly, if we wouldn't have baled it when we did, I probably still would not have this hay baled. So I'm glad we did bale it when we did and got it over and done with. That being said, we have not been able to get it out. I've actually got several more fields sitting for hay in them that I can't get out. One house said we needed some pontoons for hay spears or something like that. That's about, I will agree 100%. We're that way. Anywhere that we did not get the hay out where it was flatter and we went in and baled it right there at the end of the season, we have still yet to be able to get it out. We can't get in and out with the trucks to get it out. There's no high ground for me to... Alright, now that y'all know what I'm doing, I actually wanted to talk about the hay season and everything, but I'll cover that later in a year-end review of how the year went for us. I'll just go over it all in that video. But right now, I felt like there was something more important I needed to talk about a little bit. Before we dive into that, if y'all like watching snow pushing videos, go check out DLH's video. The last two ones he's had, his Snowmageddon, I think it was, videos. Holy cow. Wow. Don't forget to come back on my channel. But wow. They've gotten a ton of snow. Man, he takes his New Holland, his T6, I think it was, and they go out there and they're pushing snow for the state of Virginia, or VDOT, and that is just insane. So check out that at the end of this if y'all want to. But we are hauling this up. These bales are so heavy that, just to put it in perspective for you, we found out just how heavy they were. Dad actually, we brought the case home and we took the New Holland skid steer with the tracks down to the chicken houses, as y'all probably seen, so that way we'd have a cab down there with heat later this winter. And we just brought the case back here, and we've been using it here at the home farm. And we tried to pick up one of these bales I'm hauling up with that loader, and it would not pick it up. If that just tells you how heavy these things are. It would pick it up as far as hydraulically, but the whole machine would just tip over. That's how heavy these bales of hay are. Dad found this out the other day. He was telling me about it. It's just, I don't know. Apparently I baled them a little too tight. I know they were really green, but I put a little bit too much hay in them. I actually baled them when it was green. I never even changed my bale density settings. I just baled them the way I was baling dry hay that was bone dry. And I knew the tractor was groaning a little bit, but it was handling it without any trouble and moving on pretty good, so I just didn't worry about it. And I can't even get the spear in these. I've been having a lot of issues with that too. On some of the tractors that we've got. Now the skid steer, little spear on it, and then another one we've got have been doing okay, but they keep sticking. I have to turn the thing just to get it off of them straight down so they'll fall off. But I'm a little bit irritated right now, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. The last time I talked about cattle markets, of course, in the last video, the title was Cows Got Out, Feeding Cattle, and Comments Answered. I discussed cattle markets and the way they're going and some of the issues that are in the beef industry for us here on the East Coast today. And the last time I talked about cattle markets, I got in trouble. I thought it was maybe something else in the video, didn't really know 100% sure, but I am 99.99% positive now that what the issue is. This video also got me flagged. There was nothing bad in this video. There was nothing bad with cattle in this video. It was just me feeding cows like I always do, which obviously they don't flag that, and talking about cattle markets again, and it got flagged. Well, it come to my realization that somebody out there does not want what I'm saying on the internet. And I know who it is, and I know who's doing this. As One Lonely says, Gobble My Balls has somebody paying them in a, a 15-second deal that starts with a and ends with a D to flag anything that talks about certain topics. And they don't want me saying what I'm saying. There is a lot of money behind what I said in that video, trying to keep it the way it is, and they don't want it changed. Now, I've talked about this many times before, went in full details about all this, I don't have to do it again, but somebody said something about that I guess hadn't been watching as long or just didn't catch the videos where I have talked about this, that they think that it's the packing houses. They would be correct. It is the packing houses. It's not the feedlots. It's not the grocery stores. Everybody wants to blame the grocery stores and the feedlots and everything else. For some reason, nobody ever wants to blame these packing houses. Well, quite frankly, it is the packing houses. I have seen the markets. I've seen everything they've been doing, all the incentives and everything, and the biggest gain is the packing houses. And generally, when you look at who is getting the biggest gain out of it, that is exactly who is behind it. With this beef deal here in the U.S., they do not want it out there what they're doing. And it's very simple what they have done. They have set this market up when they did away with the limits on the amount of beef that flowed into the U.S. that came from other places besides the U.S., and they did away with the country of origin. They have made it to where nobody knows about it. They paid off the beef cattle associations, all these associations we send money into every year that we all pay our dues to and we're all part of. Most of us are. I'm not anymore. Nobody in my family is anymore. We all got out of it when they started pushing this crap because we realized what was going on. And my dad even went to the meetings and was asked to go and speak at these meetings with other high-ranking officials from the ag world out there that's higher up in Washington that came down here trying to tell us how to do our damn business. And they're the reason why we ain't getting the damn money we are anymore, because they were paid off by these other damn countries that owns these packing houses, because they went in and they allowed these packing houses here in the U.S. to be bought out, all the ones that they were, by the larger ones, and now there's only a handful left, and they have control of all this. They do not want me saying this. They don't want this on the internet. That's why I keep getting flagged for this crap. There's people with a lot of money paying to shut me up, and other people like me up on all forms of internet. They don't want farmers knowing this, and it's absolutely ridiculous what is going on here, because they're double dipping, folks. They're double dipping. When they passed the bill to do away with the limits coming into this country on the beef flow, it allowed all that beef to come in here. When they did away with the country of origin, that was the other shield that they had. Now, everybody who picks up a package of meat, unless the grocery store pays to have it backtracked to make sure that it is American, and that doesn't even mean it's American, because if it's here for, I think, 3 months or something, they can label it American. And they have absolutely no way of knowing what is what. People don't when they're buying it. So they think, oh, it's all American. Or if they say USDA inspected, they think it's American. And that's just the way it is. And people pick it up and they go about their day and they don't even know what they're getting. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with other beef, but here in the U.S., I want my beef to sell so that way I can make money, because I'm going broke, if you want to know the truth. People like me on the East Coast are going broke. The guys that's out west aren't going as broke as we are yet. I think that they're going to get there, but by the time it gets there, people like me out here are going to be out of business. See, the difference is we have to take such a less price for our beef per pound on the East Coast than they do on the West Coast, because they have to ship the cattle from here further west to the packing houses and the feedlots and where they get processed. They're not on the East Coast. They're all out in the West. All the big ranches that have most of the money backing to fight something like this are more western than they are on this side. There's some on our side, but there's not near as many as there is out there. They're getting anywhere, now listen to this, anywhere, which doesn't sound like a lot if you don't know anything about cattle, but it's a lot. They're getting out there anywhere from probably 30 to 50 cents more a pound. I've seen the markets, I've looked at the sheets and everything, what their cattle selling for out there versus ours, than we get out here. It's robbery. It is absolutely robbery. There's a huge difference when you're paying, and I don't care where you go. It's that way here. And these companies, these packing houses, what they're doing is they're making gains off of this stuff. When they came in here and they took off the limits, and they did away with the origin of where the country was, and I don't want the ear tag crap of tracking cattle. That was part of all that crap when they got rid of it. What I want is our damn meat labeled, and I want limits on what other people can send in here to take care of the American farmers so we don't go broke. Because they're doing us just like they did the dairy. They're trying to get it there. And I think it's what they're doing, though, is when they took those limits off, it allowed them to bring all that foreign meat in, which was, the markets there were not that good. They were terrible. Those guys were really hurting. I know they were in the other countries compared to our markets. Well, when they allowed that meat to come in, it automatically cut our market in half. Within just a matter of a month or two, our market collapsed. And it keeps going down. It has not stopped. Gradually but surely it keeps falling. We had a little bit of uptick in the summer. It went up just a tad, but now it's starting to drop again. Or there for just a little short period of time. And it keeps going down. I don't see an end to this until something's done about this. And they're mixing their meat in with our meat that they're buying for less. Okay. And they're still charging when it's actually processed and packaged and sending it to the store what they did when our markets were at the top of what they were when we were getting $2 a pound around that for a feeder calf. And I know everybody remembers those days if you're in the beef business, how we were doing all right then. We are actually making what we should make to actually make some money for once. Most of the time, for as long as I remember, we barely squeak by. We're losing money now. We're not even squeaking by. And it's just really pathetic what our government has done to us and allowing to go on. And I cannot believe how these groups that are supposed to represent us were sold out. I don't care which one you name. Every damn one of them took money, and every one of them put prints and ads to do away with this crap when they were doing it. And until anything is changed with this and we can stop the flow of some of this meat coming in here, nothing is going to change. Now, the next thing they're doing was the part where they're not charging, they're still getting the same amount when it goes to the grocery store packaged. The way that, if you don't know anything about the beef industry, the way it works is when you have feeder cows that go for steaks and other things and your top meat, farmers sell their calves that weigh about 600 pounds when they're weaning weight off of their cows, 500-600 pounds. Then from there, they go to a feed area. They'll go out on grass out west. They'll feed them grains and different things. Sometimes they'll go in a feed lot where they just feed them and everything else, and they get them up to weighing a certain pound that they want to kill them at. Then they go from there to a packing house. When they go to the packing house and whatnot, they process the animals and they package them and they ship them out to the grocery store. The grocery store buys the meat in a box, in a large boxes, and then they take it in their store, and it may be a larger piece of meat, and they may cut it up, or they may have it done already processed and everything done with it, and they just stick it out on their shelves or on the little cold areas. That's how this works. If you don't believe me, go look at the profit margins of these packing house companies. Tyson's, it's one of the one, if only, I think, American one left. The rest of them are all owned by foreigners. Look at their profit margins on the cattle for this year, and you will see what I'm talking about. They are record numbers. Basically, what happened is they got in the back pockets of politicians and all the people that represented us, and they turned around and they passed this crap to do away with these laws that helped us. And then they turned around and the packing houses are now pocketing it. They're getting all the money that we've lost in that time period that we were making and now sticking it in their back pocket, when they were already making good money to begin with. But see, they gamed the system. They looked at it and said, we ain't going to let the farmer make that kind of money. How can we get it? And they had large amounts of money to buy off politicians, and they're unified, and they can get together and do that. Farmers do not get together and do anything. We're too independent. We don't have large amounts of money to back us to get this crap done. And then you have these groups that we send this money to that are supposed to do this for us, and then they sell us out to collect more money to go in their pockets. There's your reality. These packing houses are owned by the Chinese, the Brazilians, and several other countries. And they are giving us the giant middle finger every time we take a cow to the sale. That's the reality. And then they go on a platform like YouTube and they put money behind it to stop people from saying stuff to do anything about it. Because they've already bought off everybody else that's in between them and the government. That is the reality of what goes on in this country, in our industry. Now, I know the Canadians do not like me. Most of them don't like me because they don't want me saying this. Because before all this passed, and also the Mexicans, and the Brazilians, and all of them, they were not making the amount of money that they're making. Their markets have all went up because of this. Because of all that beef demand. Now that there's such a large demand, they're upping their production. They're getting more cattle to make more beef and cutting our throats further. And we're eventually going to die, especially smaller farms and not larger ranches. It's the same thing they did to dairy. They're doing it to the beef now. You see what's happened there. And if we don't do something about this, that's where we're going to end up, is the same place that dairy's at. This is the reality, and if we don't do something now, it's going to be too late. And the Canadians and the Mexicans don't like me saying this because if it goes back to the way it was, it's really going to hit them hard in their prices. And I understand the frustrations with me saying this and the unsubscribers who unsubscribe from those countries. I get it. I'm there. I know what you're dealing with. I don't complain when you have your labeling on your meat, and I know they do this crap in Canada. and they label their country of origin, but yet they took us to the World Trade Organization and sued the United States of America for doing the same thing and said it was unfair. But yet they're doing the same thing to us and have not stopped. Talk about calling the kettle a pot, or whatever the hell that saying is. It's absolutely ridiculous what our government is allowing to go on. And there's a lot of money in behind all this. A lot. If you notice in this farm crap that's going on with all this crap that they're trying to fix, the grain and everything else that goes on, you notice the one thing that they haven't really ever touched? Beef. They haven't done anything really to help us. What have they done? Oh, they got China to agree to do this. China does not buy beef from us. Europe does not buy beef from us. They claim we put hormones and stuff in our beef and other things. And they won't buy it from us. What have they done? I tell you what they've done. They've done nothing. You know why? Because there's money backing the people that's up there telling the president what to do. To keep them quiet. To shut them up. To keep this allowed to go on. We have got to start complaining about this and raising our voices, or we're going to be just like the dairy farmers. It's time to wake up, people. And when I can't even get on YouTube and say this, I don't even care if they just throw me the hell off this damn thing anymore. If I can't get on here and speak my mind when it's supposed to be a free world where I can say whatever I want and have free speech, it's bullshit. They don't want me saying what I'm saying because it's the damn truth. And it's damn time somebody said it and somebody did something about it. We're going to have to get together. We're going to have to go to these damn groups that we send all our money to and tell them, say, hey, I'm not giving you any more damn money until you get this shit fixed. That's what it's going to take to get their attention, to get their little asses in gear. Because otherwise, they're being bought off right now and they're not going to do any damn thing. Now that I got that off my chest, y'all have a nice day. I know this wasn't the grandest video of mine, but it has been very hectic here lately on this farm with everything we've had going on, from cattle getting out to dealing with the holidays with my wife and everything else I've had dealing with. I'm not quitting YouTube. I'm not going anywhere because that's exactly what they want me to do. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Have a nice day.